track wrestling here in Las Vegas at Greco Roman World Team training camp with Sam Hazewinkel.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's going on in the background, just wrapping up the first workout of the week.
Yep.
Your story's one of the most compelling ones on the team. 35 years old, freestyle Olympian in 2012, first time Greco-Roman World Team member.
Finally.
What went into the decision to give this one more go?
There was a lot, you know. I always wanted to make that Greco team. That was a big part of it. It's what I always thought I would make. I ended up making freestyle, so that, and then it was in Oklahoma, so it was in my backyard. It just, a lot of things worked out. The new rules, having to make scratch. It felt like it was a good time to try it, and so I did it. Went for it. You know, had a little bit left in here.
When you look back on it, what was the point that put you over the top and saying, I'm going to do this?
You know, I think it was probably looking back, my brother. I was going to do it, and then I got the job at OCU and decided not to do it and wanted to focus on that. And then my brother was like, hey man, this was the dream. This is a good chance. Like, you need to do it. Nothing to lose. I kind of went with that. Like, yeah, that's true. If I don't win, it doesn't matter. You know, I'm going to go. It's in Oklahoma. Go do it one more time. And just, you know, it all worked out. Yeah, loving it. Looking back on it, it's hard to put in words.
Looking back on the journey, what was the point where you said, you know what, I think I can make this team?
You know, it's something I always thought I could do, and just all those things coming together. You know, I think a big part of it was that it was in Oklahoma. It's just like, you know, it's here. I need to do it. It's in Oklahoma. There's no reason not to. It's a 2-hour drive for me. I would be up there anyway, so I might as well wrestle.
It's a pretty interesting bunch when you look at the Greco-Roman team.
Yeah,
you got yourself and Kuhn, guys that wrestled D1 folk style. You've got you know, some rising stars like Kamal. Guys with different backgrounds all over the country, all different upbringings in the sport. And then yourself, you've got a coaching background now.
Yeah.
How does that mesh with not just balancing what you're trying to do to get yourself ready, but also being a leader on this team?
Well, for myself, it's helping a lot sticking to the game plan. It was easy for me in the past to just want to outwork everybody, and so I'd get a plan, and when it wasn't going right, I would work hard, you know, and I wouldn't stick to the plan necessarily. And this year, I'm really sticking to the plan. And
he's still outworking everyone. He's still doing it.
I do it on paper and in my mind now. I love it. So it's just a lot smarter approach, if you will. It's harder, but it's smarter. It's harder in that I want to go back to that, and that's the problem, is I'll get injured. It's the last 4 years, the last cycle, I had 4 surgeries in 4 years, and it was because it was always my thing, and I never got injured, and then I got old and started getting injured. So for me, it's helping me stick to the game plan, even when it's hard, even when I'm getting beat up and I wanna go do more. I'm able to keep myself back and be smarter. And then for the team, I'm kind of curious to see how it's all going to work out. You know, the last camp was a base camp, so it was a little bit different. We weren't wrestling, so it was more just trying to be a leader without, you know, all the guys on the team know I'm a coach, so they know. So it's funny because I don't want to be another coach. I don't, you know, I want to be one of the guys, but at the same time I want to be a leader. So I'm still kind of figuring it out, but I really enjoy it because I can see things that I see it as a coach, and trying to get the guys to understand it as an athlete is a little different. And I'm in a good place to be able to do that, and hopefully I'll help them. Hopefully I won't come across as the arrogant guy that it's his first team too, and half these guys are on their third team, you know. So I'm trying to learn also.
How do you balance that?
That's what I'm figuring out. You know, I'm trying not to be arrogant, like I said. I'm just trying to point out, like, this is what I see. Take it, leave it. Everybody's got a different style. That's what's great about wrestling. It's so different, especially in Greco, where, like you already mentioned, there's so many different styles and backgrounds and people and how we got here. We don't all think the same way, so I'm trying to get them to understand that idea. There is a lot of different ways, and if they can add 1 or 2 things in, you know, the more tools you have, easier the job.
You know, besides being on this team, you mentioned your head coach, Oklahoma City, your father. How do you balance everything?
Right now, it's just going one thing to the next. I don't really have time to think about it too much, which is good because I think it would stress me out. I get done here, like today, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to go do emails. I got to go make calls. We got kids moving into the dorms. I shouldn't say kids, fellas. They're men. We got a bunch of the men moving into the dorms, and there's all kinds of problems going on with it, and I got to take care of it. And so I don't have time to think about it, which I think is good. I think that's a good thing.
What will that look like when you're in October, when the season's starting to ramp up there, and you're over in Budapest?
I'm curious to see. I really am, because I've always been a believer in you got to be selfish to a degree. When it's go time, it's about me, and I can't do that now. Like I can't. I can't. I really think it's going to help. It's helped with my training because I've been leaving wrestling at wrestling. Like today, when I leave here, I got to go do emails. I got to go make calls. I'm not going to go back to my room and think about the day and what I did right and what I did wrong. And I got to leave it here. And I really think that's helping me. I'm not overthinking things. I'm not coming in, like I said earlier, trying to outwork everybody because I messed up here. Each practice is a new practice. I'm sticking to the game plan. Doesn't matter so much what happened the last practice, which I think is really helping me. We'll see, but I think it is.
Has making a Greco World team, has that filled a void in your career at all?
Absolutely. I think I was more emotional after making this team than I was after making the Olympic team. And that goes back to what I said, like, it's a different kind of stress now. I'm training for the Olympics, like you put that much time in an Olympics, and and a lot of people say it's 4 years, but it's not. It's 20 years. It's not just the last cycle. You've been training for it for so long that part of you expects to make it, and you really hurt when you don't. And this one is in my backyard. It was something I always wanted to do. Like, if I didn't get it, it was all right because I need to be doing emails afterward anyway. So I don't know. It's a different kind of emotion. It was like I didn't expect it necessarily. I went there to win, but I didn't. I didn't set a level of expectation. So the emotion was more like, holy moly, I did it. Like, I was excited. It was fun. I'm not an emotional guy, so it was I don't know. It's different.
Our bodies don't work the same now as what they did when we were 22.
Yes.
Yes,
I do know that.
What kind of differences do you notice now?
Yeah, a lot more recovery. That's the biggest thing. And then hold myself back because I know what it takes to be an Olympian, to be at that highest level, and I can't do it. Plain and simple, I can't do it. If I try to do it at that level, I'm going to go in injured. I'm going to go in 70% because I'm going to be worn down. I have to really stick to my best chance to win is me being at 100%. And then you have things go your way. They have a bad day. They overtrain. They get injured. Ref makes a bad call. There's a lot of other things that can make it up. We've all seen a guy get to the finals that shouldn't be there. Nothing ever happens like on paper. The seeds never. Rarely do they come out the way they should. And so I don't think my best chance is, like, I got to outwork everybody. I think that's going to not work out the best for me at where I'm at. I think I got to make sure I'm healthy, and then my experience and everything else will take care of itself. It's one of those, getting older, I do a lot of disc golf. That's where golf has really helped me, is learning to stick to the game plan. I can't worry about, I just missed a putt and now I got to make up a stroke on the next hole, because that's where you end up bogeying again. I got to it's a new hole. I got to play this hole the way my strategy was, and when I'm sticking to my game plan, I have the best opportunity to win.
We talk about you being a college coach. We talk about you trying to blend in with the guys on this team. When you look at that, is that a little bit different? That some of these guys are the same age as the guys that you're coaching, and how do you go from being a coach of guys this age to fitting in, being a teammate with them?
It's different, and part of it is I don't have the time to hang out as much as I would if I was 18, 20, because I got to go do emails and stuff, so I don't get to hang with them the same way. But in practice, on the mat, you're on the mat. Everybody's goofing around. We're all on the same page, and I'm doing the same stuff I used to. I'm trying to keep it lighthearted, trying to keep the guys motivated, and they're doing the same things. We saw, holy moly, my mind went blank. I'm going to say it wrong too. you know, the guy's joking around. He came up, jumped in the middle of it, and that's
D'Angelo Hancock, yeah, yep.
Thank you, Hancock. I was gonna say Hitchcock, and I knew that wasn't it. But he is like the Superman, you know. He's Hitchcock. So, yeah, D'Angelo. So he's joking around. I'm doing the same thing. I think today Dalton pushed me all over the mat, so I kept running into guys while we were drilling, just kind of keeping it lighthearted. You know, they're trying to push people off, and I'm messing with them. And so I think that part of it we get. That's part of what you do. We're all here trying to do the same thing. We're trying to win a national title, world title.
Have you thought back to your post-collegiate days, you know, going back and forth between Greco and freestyle, and what maybe the pros and cons of that?
I always think it was good. I'm not a big guy on regrets. I'm not. I think at the time I felt like it was the best choice, and it got me where I was, and same idea as what I'm doing with my training. This is what I think is the best idea, the best way I can do it. So I liked it. I thought it really helped my folk style. I would come back different every year. I wasn't doing the same moves I did the year before because I did Greco all summer, so my style changed up. Is there downsides to it? Sure, but there's downsides to doing Greco all year. You know, it kept me, same thing. It kept me changing it up. So I don't know. I don't tend to think there's downsides, and I'm big on, you know, the past behind me. It's all I can do is move forward. I'm looking at tomorrow, what I can do right tomorrow.
What does your training look like back in Oklahoma? Who do you have rolling around with you back there?
Everybody. I've been to OU a lot. I work out with my guys a lot. I went to OSU. You know, I worked out with Fix and Cejudo was there. Worked out really well. Ended up that day, it was a good mindset day. I went in there for a good workout, and then it's like, holy moly, I gotta show up. So it was good for me to have to kind of get in that mindset. It was like showing up at Worlds, and all of a sudden I got 2 world champs first 2 rounds. You know, I gotta be ready. So it was really good. But I'm all over the place. Dalton, you know, I got guys from UCO. I'm all over the place working out, but I'm really excited. My guys, my OCU guys, are pumped about it, and they're helping me anytime I need it. They're finding ways to get in there and train with me, and I think it's good for both of us. They're getting to see how I train. I'm getting to see how they train, and I really I'm enjoying this opportunity where I get to be hands-on a little different. You know, that's I always say. It's one of the good things about being a wrestling coach is we can put our hands on our athletes. You don't get to do that in other sports, and this one's different. You know, when I'm putting my hands on them, we're both trying to get better, and I like that part of it. It's different than when I'm a coach, put my hands on them, trying to get them to understand and learn. It's a different feel, and I'm really enjoying it and trying to see if it's something I can use moving forward, even though I'm not training, to kind of train with the guys and let them see it. So we'll see. I'll fill you in on that later in the year. See if I think it's working, and I'm going to keep trying to do it.
What kind of perspective has coaching given you that's helping you now that you didn't have before? Yeah,
the biggest thing is really sticking to my strategy. That really is the biggest thing, and kind of stepping out of that wrestler view. I try to in breaks and in wrestling live, and I'm going to try to do it in matches. Is step back and try to think as a coach for a minute, because coaches always, you know, everybody always say, every coach always says, like, if I knew now, you know, back then I would be crushing everybody. So I'm really trying to do that. I'm trying to step back and think like a coach, not like an athlete, because it's easy. I know as an athlete it's easy. You come on the side and the coach says, well, you need to do this, and in your head you're thinking like, well, I wanted to do that, but the guy was doing this, and I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to listen to the coaches and think of it from their perspective. And in here, if I don't have a coach on me, I'm trying to think of it from a coach's perspective, what I would be telling myself, and then doing it. And I'm liking it right now. I think it's helping. It's keeping my attitude a lot better too. I'm keeping a lot more upbeat, which I'm generally an upbeat guy, but like I said, if I had a bad day, I would work harder. Now, I'm not letting a bad day get to me near as much. Like I came in, I got, you know, these are the things I did right today. I try to focus on those kind of things, and if I got to work on something, I got to work on it. But I'm not mad about it.